Hi, I'm Lily with Carrick & Associates. The purpose of this video is to address some common questions that may arise when filing a trademark application. This discussion assumes that you've already selected and cleared your mark, so you should be ready to file your application with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. This video should be used in conjunction with filling out our trademark questionnaire. Once this is filled out, we'll have all the information we need to file your application. The easy part is gathering basic details like your name and contact information, but some terms may be confusing. The first area of potential confusion will be in asking, who is the applicant? The applicant can be an individual, a corporation, or other type of legal entity, so long as they are responsible for the sales made under the trademark. If you have formed a legal entity, such as a corporation, it will typically be this entity. It is easy to assign the trademark at a later time, so don't worry if you've not yet incorporated. Just fill in your personal name. If you have incorporated, be sure to provide the full legal name, the type of entity, and the state of incorporation if it is a U.S. corporation, or country if it is outside the U.S. You may want to check the incorporation papers for these details, or just ask your corporate attorney. Another question that you may have difficulty answering is, what is the mark? The mark is typically the primary name you use on your packaging and advertisements. It is usually a company name such as Amazon or Microsoft, or a product name like Razor Scooters. We recommend that your trademark registration be limited only to this primary name. If you wish to protect graphic logo elements such as the Nike swoosh, this will be done via a separate application. The reason for this is that logos tend to change fairly often, and we don't want this to interfere with your primary registration of the name. You may also want to register slogans, taglines, and similar marks, which should also be done via a separate application. To conserve funds, we don't normally recommend that smaller startups register multiple marks, but larger companies may wish to register all three. Next, the description of your goods or services. There are numbered class codes under which your goods will fall. For example, Class 16 denotes paper goods and printed matter, so if you're selling notebook covers or fancy pens, you will file in Class 16. Typically, we recommend that you file in only one class, as each additional category requires an additional government fee. The only time you should file in multiple classes is if you are legitimately intending to sell a wide range of products in different fields. Discuss this with the attorney if you aren't sure. Importantly, be specific about what will be sold under your mark. The more specific, the better. Remember, being specific will not limit the potential value of your brand. The more exact you are in your description of goods, the more likely it is that the trademark office will accept your application. For example, tools is too broad. Even hammers is too broad. You need to specify exactly what type, such as framing hammers. If you have a retail business and sell products for others, then you are a service, and you should disclose what type of products you sell and how you sell them. Once again, the more detail, the better. Now, there will be a question on the questionnaire that will ask whether you will file as intent to use, or if you are already using the mark in commerce. The majority of applicants file an intent to use since they have not started selling the product yet, but registration will not be granted until they've provided an exemplar of use. An exemplar refers to an example of the mark's use in commerce. If you are not filing as intent to use because the mark is already in commerce, then an exemplar is required at the time of the application. An exemplar of use for goods might be an actual product with a label that shows the trademark. It is critical that we receive the actual labels and not just an artist's rendition. If the mark is engraved or imprinted directly on the product, a clear photograph is acceptable. An exemplar of use for services might be a descriptive advertisement that clearly shows the mark. Ordinary letterheads, business cards, etc. are typically not acceptable. Once you've filled out the questionnaire and submitted the appropriate fees, your application will be filed with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. We typically receive a response in about 6 months, either asking for some revision or granting registration. Once you've received your official registration document, you can start using the circled R on the end of your trademark. After that, to keep your registration current, you must file a Declaration of Continued Use, or Section 8, between the 5th and 6th years of registration. Also, federal trademarks must be renewed every 10 years. The renewal must be filed within the final year of the term. Don't worry, we will send you reminders. Be sure to keep us apprised of any changes to your contact information so we can be in touch. Thank you for taking the time to carefully consider all these terms and steps. I hope it was helpful in answering any questions you may have had about filing a trademark application. We at Carrick & Associates wish you the very best of luck in all your entrepreneurial endeavors, and please don't hesitate to call or email if you would like to discuss the matter further.